Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, getting in there with a new week, a new deck, and a new quest. So today's quest, 20 black or red spells. Well, I've got a deck for that. If you haven't had a black-red deck so far in this version of Arena, most people, of course, you get the Pirate Pirate pre-construct deck. Of course you get that, but I'm looking for something a little different. So we're gonna talk about black-red Karn. If you are looking to use a wild card on a mythic in the new format with the changes to the economy that have taken place, I think that if you're looking to have a good time and be a little bit competitive and make every deck you have incrementally better, it's hard to look much further than Karn. Karn here is a colorless planeswalker, and as a card you can spend your mythic on, can go into any deck you build. It can be aggressive, it can be defensive, it can be something in the middle like this. And the great thing about Karn, of course, for generic mana, you can play him anywhere. Also, everybody who starts the game gets a treasure map, and Karn and treasure map are a combo that are very fun, because once you've ticked him up a few times, you can start ticking him down, and when treasure map makes 3 treasures, it means every time you tick Karn down, you are making 4/4 tokens or greater, depending on other artifacts you may have. So I decided to build a deck around Karn here and his little treasure combos, and let's take a look at it. We have 4 Wily Goblins, because playing cards like Karn ahead of schedule, as well as some of the other cards we'll get into, like Glorybringer and Rekindling Phoenix, that is Wily Goblin's little job. I also had Captain Lannery Storm in the deck, and we'll go over some of the cards that I cut or are running differently, but that is another option that you can run, is Captain Lannery Storm. Abrade, we have those because it has the flexibility to also deal with an artifact. You're going to notice the theme in our removal spells that we want flexibility wherever it is available. Most of the time, though, you'll be roasting their early creatures. Also in the 2 spot, but actually kind of hanging out in the 4 for no good reason, is Cut to Ribbons, where you want to play Cut early and kill a creature. The Ribbons side comes up much later. The 4 treasure map, of course, to generate artifacts and help us find the goods and gain card advantage. We have 4 Doomfalls. This is because we want to get in our opponent's hand and remove their removal that they may have for Karn or for our other big threats. Doomfall also has the awesome exile advantage and can hit various other things that you want to remove, such as gods like Ronus or just large creatures. We have 3 Sweltering Suns. They cycle and they deal 3 damage to each creature, and they are just a great card to have to shore up the matchup with tokens and red decks. If you cannot get your hands on Sweltering Suns, you can try some Fiery Cannonade or Golden Demise in the same spot. Next up over here, same thing with Cut. If you cannot get your hand on a Cut to Ribbons, I'm going to try to provide substitutions for the cards that I don't think are crucial to the deck and can be replaced. So just to help those budget-minded folks out there, Cut to Ribbons is a rare, and if you can't get your hands on those, you can use Lightning Strike, Moment of Craving, other things in this spot. The Ribbons side isn't crucial to the deck. Rekindling Phoenix is a 4-drop that is resilient to removal and helpful. Rekindling Phoenix, Virix Bladewing, or in this 4-drop spot, that you might also go back to like Captivating Crew, Captain Lannery Storm, or just some other cards that can play this role. You could also put in Ravenous Chupacabra and just forget about having a threat in the spot and double down on removal. I like some Rekindling Phoenix to be resilient. When you play them against like red decks and green decks, they often can't deal with it very easily, and it provides a clock in the air against decks like Merfolk that have sort of this long game advantage if you don't deal with them. Also, the Wily Goblin, playing Karn ahead of schedule is the main goal, but playing Rekindling Phoenix ahead of schedule is also very good. Vraska's Contempt, exiling creatures or planeswalkers. We wanted some ways to deal directly with planeswalkers in the deck, and in this case, Vraska's Contempt is, I think, better than Ravenous Chupacabra. Our deck doesn't have a lot of ways to take advantage of the Chupacabra body. If you don't have the 4 Contempts, I would use as many as you have, but then after that, probably some combination of Ravenous Chupacabras can fill the role nicely. And if you also still need some exile, you can get Magma Spray, or you can get Puncturing Blow into the mix even. A couple Puncturing Blows and a couple Chupacabras can play this role. The card that I most like in the deck is Karn, so I would try to get as many Karns as you can get your hands on to play the deck. If you want to do some other Planeswalker shenanigans, you can get Liliana or Jaya in here if you feel you want to do the Super Friends action. I also use 4 copies of Glorybringer. I do find them very helpful here. Glorybringer is getting better. It's not good against Ixalan's bindings, and it's not good against cast outs, and it's not good against cast down, but those cards are not in favor as much because of the amount of blue-white flash and mono-red. Those cards are a bit slow and a bit awkward dealing with some of the threats. So Glorybringer might be in an okay place. Of course, sometimes you'll run into those cards, and it is what it is, but anytime that you can play your Glorybringer and get a kill out of it and deal 4 damage, you've got to be pretty happy. Another card that's great to play early with a Wily Goblin. In the mana base, we're doing 24 lands. This is because we have so much treasure access with the goblins and the maps. We really want double red on turn 2, so we're pushing it with 9 mountains. Then we've got the 4 Canyon Slough and 4 Dragonskull Summit. Run Evolving Wilds or run Cinder Barrens where you need to make up for the lands. Ifnir Deadlands isn't crucial to the deck. It's helpful, but not crucial. Just a little more removal, and we've got 7 untapped sources of black. We'll go through some of the other cards up here and discuss briefly anything that I missed and thought about running in black and red for this kind of deck. I'm not a big fan of Duress and Divest when I already have Doomfall to do the job, but can also kill something. If I had a sideboard, Duress would be a part of it almost without a doubt. I've not been turned on by Fungal Infection. Between red and black, you just have the best 1 mana and 2 mana removal spells, Abrade, Magma Spray, Lightning Strike. There's a lot of competition for the spot. I'm going with the versatility of Abrade and the back end of Cut to Ribbons, but I can totally get using a different combination. I'd cut Argyl's Bloodfast because Treasure Map does the job, and we have 4 of them, and most games you will find one. And when you don't, you have Karn, who also gets you deeper into the deck, so I didn't see a need for the Bloodfast. Cast Down just isn't as versatile as I like, and with Contempt and Doomfall, I'm usually able to hit big creatures when I need to, and when I have Deadlands, I can also shrink them to make big creatures more hittable through the other forms of removal that we have. Cards like Dusk Legion Zealot are sort of a space filler, whereas Wily Goblin can play you a Karn earlier, or if you have a treasure map, Wily Goblin is more of an Elvish Visionary than Dusk Legion Zealot is. You don't have to lose the life, so I'm on the Wily Goblin train for this time around. Poisoner doesn't really sit with me, not my kind of card for this deck when I could have a hard removal spell. We don't have a lot of ways to take advantage of the creature bodies sitting around, so it's not like a Scarab God is available or something like that can reanimate them later. Molten Craving is a fine card, but I'm just going to say this blanketly for any 1 or 2 mana black or red removal spell. I went the way I did, and I've already explained it, but you can definitely shift it up and season to taste, so to speak, with any 2 mana black or red removal spell. For sweepers, I prefer the Sweltering Suns that I can cycle to the Bantu's Last Reckoning. Let's see, what else was there? Like I said, if you don't have the Sweltering Suns, you can use some Golden Demise, something like that. And on the threat side, I did try some other things. A Mastermind's Acquisition sideboard was just 2 mana intensive, and we're not trying to be a big mana deck. We only play 24 lands. It's not like a 26, 27 land deck. You really don't want to flood out with this. You want to end the game in the mid game with Phoenix, Glorybringer, and Karn. And other things that you might consider, like Death's Majesty. Like I said, we don't have a lot of ways to get bodies back. It's not really the right deck. Demon Lord Belzenlock is kind of an overpriced big old monster when you look at him and how easy he is to remove compared to Phoenix and Glorybringer or Karn cranking out tokens. Cruel Reality is something I I went back and forth with, because this is a good deck for it. I just don't want to be reliant on getting to 7 mana too often. Same with Torment of Hailfire. You could try to make this more of a big mana deck and add those. Maybe it would be good. But I think the format's pretty fast at the moment. You want to put the red decks, the Merfolk decks, the Vampire decks out of their misery quickly before they do something annoying. Fight with Fire, kind of the same thing. Big mana deck is a different type of deck. Same thing like Hazoret. It doesn't empty its hand that aggressively, so it's not for me. Vyrix Bladewing's a consideration if you're missing if you have one of those but don't have like a Rekindling Phoenix. It's a perfectly feasible card for the spot. Hour of Devastation is another card that you could put in. I just didn't want to mess up with my Karn. Siege Gang Commander could probably have a home if you have that, but not a Glorybringer. Things like that. And in the black-red spots, you really don't like... I really don't like the these cards, the gold cards for the combo, other than Cut Ribbons. They're a little too aggressive, or they're a little too medium. Scorpion God's the closest thing that almost got added, and we just don't have a lot of other -1/-1 counter synergy. Maybe we don't need it, but I mean, Exile is already really good against Phoenix, and it's Vraska's Contempt's good against Karn. Maybe this guy would be good, and if you want to have some fun, I wouldn't blame you one bit for trying out a Scorpion God. On top of that, other artifacts to fuel Karn I don't think are necessary. Most of the artifacts, unfortunately, through the sets that we have available now, at least until we get Kaladesh, are rather weak, so it's not stuff you want to go out of your way to play. And Treasure Map, cranking out its treasures, is probably as good as it gets for you. I did try a version with Power Stone Shard and found it to be that big mana deck that this is not, but maybe you can go a different direction with that. I don't think Icy Manipulator is right for this. The deck has some weaknesses. We definitely don't want to Immortal Sun. We shut down our own card. We don't have ways to remove enchantments, so watch out for those annoying Procession decks. You just have to stockpile your sweepers, and you have to kill them in the air nice and quick, which is why we have the emphasis over here. I thought about adding Scavenger Grounds, but messed up the mana too much. You really do need your double red for your Wily Goblins and things like that to get going right out of the gate. The deck is more curve focused than it looks. You really want your first couple of turns to matter. Field of Ruin, interesting card, but not really what I'm going for here. The deck can fall prey to Search for Azcanta, which is too bad, but I don't think you can afford to mess up your mana base much with Field of Ruin to make Search for Azcanta a not thing. I think you just have to power through and get them dead. Doomfall their best cards out of their hand, play Karn and crank out some tokens powered up by the treasure map and the Wily Goblin treasures, and get your Phoenix and your Glorybringer online and try to kill them before they get too much out of it. Alright, so mid-range to the core. Let's get it fired up and do our daily quests with it. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but cracking my soda for the day. I'm currently budgeted on 1 soda a day as I try to stay healthy and rely less on caffeine. Going down to 0 makes me an unbearable person, but when you used to drink 3 or 4 a day and you're down to 1, you have to take your victories where you get them. This has the potential for turn 3 Karn, which is exactly what I want. And it's on the play, so we just need to top deck a land. So let's give it a shot. Let's see what Niv Mizzet has for us. If he's not playing blue and red, I will protest. It will be a complete flavor fail. Opponent likely with a Magma Spray here. See if they want to use it. Against our pesky 1/1 Goblin. A Drover of the Mighty. You are not blue-red, but it could generate blue. Alright, well, we hit our land drop. We have choices. We could Abrade this, or we could get Karn out. I find Karn is just great. If our opponent plays a Ripjaw Raptor, we might be in some kind of trouble, but just getting Karn going is awesome. So I'm going to get right to work. I'm also going to keep my creature back in case my opponent has like a 3-drop and I don't want to take some chip attack from the Drover. Karn, especially early in the game, is like, he sort of guarantees that you're going to hit land drops a lot of the time. Not guarantees, but makes it so likely that you hit your land drops for the first 5 turns. And I did specify in the deck tech, this deck needs its land drops. It is more of a curve deck than you think. If it falls behind anywhere in the mana department, you get in trouble. And it's a good enough reason to consider 25 or 26 lands, but then it also is not strong in a flood. So you're in this awkward place where you kind of need it all. You need it all to work. But fortunately, you have Karn, who smooths things out very, very well. Well, we're holding a Contempt. We're holding a Doomfall. You can get up in our opponent's hand. We definitely want to hit our next land drop for these Glorybringers who can really bring it home. I think I want to leave the Contempt up, try to mess up my opponent's attack. And let's plus Karn. Without a treasure map, plussing Karn is usually a lot better than the minusing. Our opponent doesn't want to give us a Sweltering Suns, that I'm pretty sure of. So we'll have our land drop for next turn, and we could Doomfall our opponent, take away their best creature, but Vraska's Contempt is already working on that, and so is Glorybringer next turn, so we'll just end the turn here. Hold up the Contempt and the Abrade. You also see the importance of these lands coming into the battlefield untapped. That's why only the Canyon Sloughs in the deck do that, as you really need turn 3, 4, 5. You want all of it untapped. You got to be greedy. All right, a Regisaur Alpha is close to a worst case scenario. And what I can do is I can Contempt the Alpha so that this doesn't have haste, and Karn can take 2 points. And I think that's the play. So we'll Contempt Regisaur Alpha, and the next turn I'm confident I'm going to Glorybringer away the Dino. No blocks. 2 damage, Karn can take it. We drew another Sweltering Suns. Wow. That's very fortunate. So I think that's the play. Our opponent may have another Alpha, but we can Abrade the Dino. If our opponent has a Carnage Tyrant, we can Doomfall it. So we want to start by plussing Karn, because we don't want to give away what we're about to do. Then I want to attack with the Wily Goblin, because you may as well. Maybe the opponent will take the damage. And then it seems pretty clear that Sweltering Suns is incoming. If we didn't plus Karn first, the opponent would assume we were getting back the Sweltering Suns anyway. Opponent with an interesting split on this one, and they choose to give us the Abrade, so now they're going to know about that card. Let's look in the graveyard. There's a Phoenix down there now. That'll come in handy. So we send the Goblin. This should set off red flags for the opponent that a sweeper is coming. But no, the opponent elects to take the damage. Little surprising. Weird attacks like that usually mean something bad about to happen. Alright, opponent knows about the Abrade. A charging Monstrosaur is sort of worst case now. Raging Sawtooth is fine. We can deal with that. And our opponent concedes? Interesting. I guess they've seen enough Karn plussing for the day. Don't want to watch any more of that sweet value. And it is a rematch, but I think since we've already seen this match, I'll concede, and I'll let Niv have the gold for this one, as it looks like he's got, I don't know if it's a starter dinosaur deck. He had a rare in there, an alpha, but he's probably wanting to work on his deck a bit more. So I'll say good game to him. I'll concede and try to find a different opponent and make this video have a little bit more diversity in it. Once you reach master rank, your rank's not affected by wins or losses. So there's no reason to keep playing the same person over and over, especially if they might be working on their collection. And I already am fortunate to have a pretty strong collection. Primal Hunt Cheeks, who has an excellent YouTube channel, said in a video that people who drop money on this game and build out their collection, it's like they're playing a different game. And that's true. It is like a different game. So if I feel like I'm getting paired against somebody who's not in the same playing the same game, so to speak, with the availability of so many wild cards, that I don't want to. I really don't want to bash on them over and over and over. And now that I've waited a few minutes, let's try getting in and see if we can get paired against somebody else. Well, this character is unimpressed with what I had to say. How about that? So we're going first. This is a tough hand because we can rely on Treasure Map to help us find our land drops, but that doesn't always work. We have some great 4-drops. I think I'm going to keep it because I have the means to catch up if I get behind with the Suns. But this could get awkward. I never like keeping 2-land hands on the play, but I always feel like mulliganing makes it even more likely that I'll have 2 lands or less in the next hand. Because every time you give up a card, your chances of having more than 2 lands in your hand just seem to go lower and lower. Let's put a stop here. We really want to hit land drop 3, so I'm willing to scry on upkeep and try to get that. Opponent with Submerged Boneyard and Woodland Cemetery. And there is the land, so lucky us. Now the question will be, do I want to scry on upkeep this time, or take the risk that I can top deck a land and play Karn? I'll probably take the chance this time. Spring, so our opponent doing some ramp strategy. We definitely don't want to fall behind here. If we can play a Phoenix or a Karn here, we really want to. Really, really bad. And not so lucky, I'm afraid. We don't have the double red either. So we could try cycling the Sweltering Suns to hit the land drop, or we can try scrying for it. Let's see, I think we should scry for it, because that at least... Well, it sees 2 cards either way. Either way, we get to see 2 cards. And it doesn't look like the Suns are necessary, so I guess I'll make this play as it has the most upside, where we might get to scry and hit our land drop. But we miss. So I'm definitely going to try scrying upkeep next. And here is the Zealot. Interesting. Is it a Scarab God deck? Can't wait to see what our opponent's up to over here. Some kind of a ramp thing. Alright, glory to the bottom. And deck has certainly turned against us a bit here, but here we go. There's land. Still not another red. I think I'll put a stop on the next upkeep, because flipping this, no matter what, I can just use a treasure to play one of my drops. But since we already hit our land, there's no reason to play to cycle Sweltering Suns right now and make it appear that we are completely tapped out. We can at least represent who knows what. Still, if our opponent's some kind of a control deck or ramp deck, they're getting way, way ahead of us. Uh-oh. Field of Ruin means we don't want to flip our map on upkeep. They can blow it up before we can sack a treasure. We want to do it on end step or when they tap their mana. Yep, here comes a Dusk Legion. And we'll cycle this Sweltering Suns as well. We do need another red with a badness. Found it. Glory, glory, hallelujah. So, now we have to make our opponent work. So how do we get their removal out of their hand? A resilient threat like Phoenix is probably the best thing against them if we get their removal gone. So the first thing we could do is throw Glorybringer at him. But then we take our mana down for the map. We could throw Karn at him, just see what he does. If he doesn't have exactly a Vraska's Contempt, Karn might be really good here. Yeah, I think that I like Karn to go first. If he does have Vraska's Contempt and kills Karn, oh well. A little bit of value. Interesting. It's a counter deck. So I could flip my map and pay 3. And my opponent doesn't have blue. How much do I like Karn? Well, the map's unlikely to draw any cards, and the treasures are unlikely to matter if I can't draw cards with them because of the Field of Ruin. So I actually think that's the play. I think that's the play. This Contempt isn't needed yet. I'm probably going to shuffle anyway. So we pay for the Supreme Will. That was rather unexpected, but it does show a little weakness from our opponent. If they had a Vraska's Contempt, I think that would be a cleaner answer. That, maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Karn going up. Let's get some value going. Make our opponent do some work for a change. And Dragonskull Summit with a Glorybringer in reserve. Yep. I'm sure that the Field of Ruin will hit this Treasure Cove and we can get another red source. That shuffles the Vraska's Contempt from the bottom back in, as well as the Glorybringer that was on the bottom. Which is fine. More action. Now we like it. Now we like drawing action spells because, hey, we got the lands. Attacking Karn, also looking good. I'm not sure. I'm trying to understand our opponent's deck, some kind of value Sultai build, but right now they seem a little short on action, which is good. So I guess we start chucking creatures at them. How to do it, though? Well, we saw a Supreme Will, so we could be playing around that. We didn't, again, my opponent didn't use a Vraska's Contempt, so that makes me think that this Phoenix might be good to go. Let's find out. I'm going to do that before I activate Karn. I just want to see what our opponent does. Alright. How about this Wily Goblin? Okay. So, I could get the Glorybringer while I can, which is basically like minusing 1 to draw a premium threat. I could keep going up. That doesn't, I mean, I guess what I'm looking for are treasure maps and more Phenai and more Karns. And I could start making tokens. I think I'm going to keep going up. I don't know enough about my opponent's deck to know if Glorybringer is a good card in this matchup. I don't know quite what they're up to yet. Alright. So my opponent will likely give me the Abrade and not the Karn. So next turn I should make a point of getting the other Karn in case this one dies. And here's Mind on the flashback. Draw 2. I think we'll just hold this Abrade. I'm expecting big weird stuff like Cruel Reality, Carnage Tyrant, Sandworm Convergence. I'm just conditioned. I think by Duels of the Planeswalkers when I played that these Sultai decks would do ridiculous. Okay. He's off. So what else do you have? Something to kill this as well? Doomfall. Okay, we have a response to that. He wants to exile the Phoenix, but if we sack this treasure and cast this Abrade, which our opponent knows about, targeting the Phoenix, it will not... I have to exile the token, but I won't exile the Phoenix. So if I can make another token... Yeah, I guess that didn't work out. So don't... I guess that doesn't work in response to Doomfall. I'm used to it working in response to other removal spells, but not to Doomfall, so oops. Little mistake there. Still, it's in the graveyard. Maybe we can get it with another token in some weird way. See, if we do the exact same process with like a future Phoenix, that we can make the token, but they exile the Phoenix itself. I guess I'm getting into the weeds though, trying to defend my poor play. So let's just stop doing that, shall we? All right. I guess we'll bring the Glory. There's not a good reason not to. And I don't want to exert it on this Zealot. It doesn't really bother me that the Zealot's here. I'm not worried about it attacking Karn. I just want to do the damage. And then we will minus Karn to get other Karn. just so if our opponent does deal with Karn, it's not over. Second Zealot. All the Zealots. All the Zealots. And a Vraska, which is not too surprising. Can kill the Glorybringer. We have a Vraska's Contempt to take out the Vraska itself, though. We can also get back the Glorybringer to do the job. And that lets us save this Contempt for the Scarab God that is probably somewhere. I don't think my opponent's going to have a cast down, or they would have killed the Glorybringer with that. So, let's see, I could take this Karn down. Yep. Get other Glorybringer. Seems good. Now we have a treasure map to start working on. Now this time I'll exert. Now that there's two creatures out there, it is like you do half the damage. Like you reduce their effectiveness by half. A little exerting here. Alright, we did get to Vraska. Hallelujah. Should we just hold up a Contempt? We have a Glorybringer in the yard, so if our opponent goes Scarab God, get back your Glorybringer, attack your Karn, that's very good for them. So that's a case where Vraska's Contempting our Glorybringer and then untapping, and Vraska's Contempting our Scarab God preserves one of our Karns. Is that better than getting the map online? I think if they had Scarab God, they would have played it last turn, though, because we have a Phoenix in the yard. That was another reason to let this get exiled. Silly me. Yeah, I think we'd have seen it, so let's get the map rolling. I think they would have definitely played a Scarab God if they had it, rather than play the Vraska into what they should have been able to see was a Glorybringer incoming. Another Karn. It's good, but I don't need it right now. Upkeep. Another map scry. Really, really want maps, phoenixes, threats like that. Wily Goblin's fine. It squares off with the Dusk Legion Zealot at least. Makes the Dusk Legion Zealot do work. So before we do anything else, let's plus this Karn.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
I'm sure we will get the Mountain, not the Doomfall. But that will be a good one for next turn. Alright, bring out the Wily Goblin. Put up the Vraska's Contempt. Or we could chuck a Deadlands. I don't think I need to do that. Put on the upkeep scry for the map. Five mana. Oh, 6 mana. Even Lord Bells. Okay. Has a sweet ETB, so our opponent gets some value from it. And it looks like they get a Nissa. Nissa can make some very big flying creatures. And our opponent knows there may be a Doomfall next turn, so they have to think about getting valuables out of their hand. But let's see. They could go for Nissa here. The rest of their hand is a pretty big mystery. They haven't dealt with this Glorybringer. So what does this kill? Is it more Golden Demise? What would make sense in this hand? I guess it could be more lands. They have played a lot of them. You have to think our opponent's thinking through casting Nissa here, and there she is. Alright. Can't stop her from using an ability unless our opponent passes priority. Let's see what they do. They're going to scry. Okay.
I see a frightening future.
So, Nissa is on 6. If we exile this, we can't kill her. We can greatly reduce her effectiveness. Is she worth of Vraska's Contempt at this stage of the game? I think Bell's for sure. Nissa, I'm not sure. Yep. So, since I'm pretty sure about the Bells unlock, that's what we'll go after for now. Alright, say my turn. Upkeep. Map. There we go. Draw. Yay, we did find a Doomfall. So, we can minus and start making big Karns, and then we can play this in double Karn if we want to this turn. We can get the other Doomfall as well. But I think it all starts with a Doomfall to see what is up with our opponent's hand. It's been a weird game, and I just want to know. Okay, we know. Now we know. So let's get combative. Let's attack Nissa and attack Nissa. Our opponent will probably trade this Zealot. Giving them a few scries isn't the same as card advantage here. Alright, let's tick down Karn. Let's play other Karn. Make sure that you click the one with the higher loyalty, because it says which one you wish to keep. I always reread it. It's one of the bigger fails you could make. And let's make another Karn token. So we got a 5/5 and a 6/6 just like that. And this is the Karn map combo. And our opponent needs a pretty big draw. Still not playing the Deadlands. And they appear to have flooded rather brutally. And here's a Doomfall. Exile a creature I control. Resolve. And let a token go. Glorybringer's flying could still be relevant here, but wait. These are lethal. And he already played the Deadlands. Never mind. See you, Glorybringer. I'd rather win the game. We'll see if Nissa here can, like, 0 to put something in play. Otherwise, my opponent's dead on board without playing those Deadlands to buy another turn.
I foresee how this ends.
I also just have to be careful not to sack my treasures. Alright. The payoff. Alright, opponent's seen enough. How's our quest doing? Up to 11 out of 20, and picking up a few dailies. Give our opponent a few seconds so that we don't get automatically matched again. How's the deck doing? What do we like? Well, some interesting games so far, but Treasure Map and Karn showed the deck's ability to grind when grinding is needed, while also turning up some heat, putting them under pressure from Phoenix. We missed missing the land drops was scary, but we got through it alive. Gotta remember, when it comes to Doomfall, you can't save your Phoenix by making the token. The token gets exiled, so a little learning moment there for the team. And let's go get back out there. Match found instantly. That always makes me think we're getting a rematch. But it is not a rematch. Okay, on the draw, we have a slower hand, but we have the mana we need and the cards we want. Like, very good cards in the matchup. I am concerned about it being mono-red, or Merfolk is also equally scary. It's nice to draw a 2-drop. Always play a red source first if you can, in case you draw a Wily Goblin off the top. Alright, Merfolk will be scary without Sweltering Suns, so we need to pick that up quickly. It is one place where Phoenix and Karn, while they can do their best, they can't do it alone. It's also a case of whether or not to kill the Mistcloaked Herald is interesting. But since we don't have that many blockers anyway, I'm just going to start by focusing on reducing the damage I take. The next turn, we're likely not Doomfalling the board. We're likely getting in our opponent's hand to try to Doomfall away a Cumena or some payoff card for the deck. Something that would pump this Herald, for example. A Kapala on top. Ooh, well, they bin it. They must be lacking a second island. Glorybringer is very good against the Merfolk deck if we get the time to resolve it. Yep, let's get in the hand. And we see a Silvergill Adept and a Branchwalker. So we're going to take the Branchwalker and hope to strand the Adept. If our opponent doesn't draw another Merfolk, they can't play the Silvergill. And it looks like they missed. Alright, let's get our Deadlands out there. Get our Phoenix online. Try to hold up against the Walker. The Herald will keep coming though. Here's the Adept, revealing, yes, another Adept. Very common play pattern, I tell you. Ooh, okay, so still not another Merfolk. Or an elaborate ruse to mask an unsummon, which would be very bad, but I think you go for Glorybringer. Such a good card against these decks. Alright, Phoenix back on defense, Glorybringer here, I can take 3. Yeah, Phoenix can come too. Phoenix can also jump in, as we can try to race our opponent down now. Phoenix hit next turn, and then Glory and Phoenix the next turn is lethal. So our opponent needs to turn this into a 2-turn or less clock. 3 turns, I guess. They're the one on the move. Herald of Seeker's Dream is revealed. And they found a Mistbinder. That is a card they wanted and needed. And that is the frickin' draw. That is the draw. We were in okay shape with Vraska's Contempt for the Mistbinder, but then we just top-decked the nuts. Sorry, opponent. I'm going to be very cruel now. But that's why sweet, sweet Sweltering Suns is in the deck. Alright, 4 more to go. I think we can do it in this video. Quick Q. Not a rematch. Hallelujah. His hand is too slow. Can't keep that one. With a treasure map, you can try to talk yourself into it, and you saw even then we missed our land drops. Not gonna keep 5 lands though. So, not great. Not great against red either. This is the... Oh man, you slip even a little, and now the lands are just falling from the sky. You slip a little against red, and it's like you never had a chance. But our goal is to cast 4 spells. If we cast 4 spells, we complete the quest. We complete the quest, we get the gold. So there are wins to be had. Here's a Firebrand, yippee. Another Sweltering Suns off the top would be a deal. Nope. You've seen 4 lands and then 2 straight lands off the top, but of course not swamps. Not swamps. Alright, let's get in their hand. I was afraid of that. Oh man. So what are the odds I can draw something to deal with that Hazoret? Not that good. I can probably draw something to deal with that Crasher, but the Crasher is really bad too because it makes the Phoenix unable to block, so how much damage is that? Next turn I go to 12. The next turn I go to 7, but I have my Phoenix, and then if I draw something to get rid of the Crasher I might stabilize, whereas if I don't take Hazoret, well, he's still got a lot of cards to play. Oof. And Phoenix can block the Hazoret if he doesn't find another way to deal. This is such a tough choice. Vraska's Contempt can deal with the Hazoret. It might be multiple turns. I just don't think I can let myself go to 7 and try to recover from there. So I have to take the Crasher. Ugh. It's so bad. I think if I'm at 7, there's no way I win that game. No! They drew a perfect card for their curve! No! No! So mean. So mean. And that's, I mean, that's almost certainly game. We had to draw Sweltering Suns right there. Was the only way. And then a Vraska's Contempt within the next couple turns for the Hazoret. Oh, so mean. So mean. Why you gotta be so mean? Alright, big draw. It's a thing. It's not a nothing. Unfortunately, we don't gain the life unless we target the Frostodon, which I guess I have to do. And then I have to be blocking the Hazoret, but then he can use a Firebrand on my token, so that's no good. Ugh! But I think I do just have to target the Frostodon. It's not good. I guess we can see how our opponent attacks. That might matter. If he attacks with this Firebrand for whatever reason, we can get away with making the Phoenix token. Our opponent does have to play out their hand first to be able to attack with Hazoret, so we'll make him do it right. And it's a Soulscar Mage, that's no problem. But yep, this was we lost this game when we mulliganed, unfortunately. Okay, they're not attacking with a Firebrand. Very frustrating. So we gotta go get the Frostodon off the board. I guess we could have also, well, we could. Yeah, we could have hoped to draw the Sweltering Suns. Maybe that's the better play. Probably. It's probably better to try to draw Sweltering Suns from that position. My opponent's getting a little, like trying to use the Firebrand before the token's in play. They're just feeling it. They feel it. Alright. Ooh, another Vraska's Contempt. Keeps us in the game. I guess I need to do this now. I don't want my opponent to get... I just don't want my opponent to untap and get to chuck their card. Because it also pumps the Flame Blade. Down to 6, facing 2 Ramanop Ruins. We draw a cut. Is it a comeback? Is it a comeback? Actually. Red mana. Cut your... Soulscar Mage. Pay 1. Sacrifice Desert. Submit. Can't believe I ended up with 7 lands after the mulligan, but there you go. Sometimes that just happens. Alright. It's got 2 Ramanop Ruins. That puts me at 3. If he's got Lightning Strike, I'm dead. I don't know what other card would sit here. Maybe a Magma Spray. Good old Ramanop Ruins. Enjoy your time while you can. You're banned right now in the only formats that would play you, so... Doomfall. I guess I hold it. My opponent's card must be a Magma Spray. It's a blank anyway. Must be a Magma Spray or an Abrade. So we can hold it at least until we have a better reason to play it. If it's a Lightning Strike, the game's already over. We'd already know. Put me at 1. Seems good. Oh wait, my goal was to cast spells. But I've cast enough. We've cast enough to meet goal. We've done the quest. Okay. Just making sure. Alright. There aren't many creatures they have that don't have haste, which means this Doomfall is unlikely to work, but say a Soulscar Mage is something we could exile with it. A Rekindling Phoenix is something we could hit. No, there's a Hazoret. I guess it attacked me before the animation finished? Kind of surprised. Anyway, quest in the bag. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching Karn and Treasure Map do their awesome work together. Thanks for viewing. Remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to help out the channel. And you can also come by Twitch and our Discord and check out the other things going on in the CGB universe. Alright, see you later.